Update. My ex-husband wouldn't let my youngest daughter to be at my wedding. Original post. So I need to give some backstory. My ex-husband, 37 male, and I, 37 female, have been divorced for 6 years now. We have 2 daughters. Emily, 16 female, and Gabby, 8 female, and was happily married for 10 years. Then, he cheated on me with a college freshman and left me for her. It was hard for me. I was in so much emotional pain. It wasn't just his cheating, but also how he said he hates me and that I looked ugly. He even said something on the line of, I was not as tight as I used to be. You can imagine my pain. It gave me some serious trust issues. I couldn't forget what he said to me during our divorce. Emily knew why we divorced, and she held some resentment towards her father for that. But Gabby was too young at the time. Nonetheless, he was a crappy husband, but a good father to both of them. We shared custody. The girls would be with me from Friday to Monday. I tried my best, but from time to time I would spiral, and I have been in and out of therapy since my divorce. I met my now husband Ben, 41 male, 4 years ago. We met because we worked in the same building and I was crying on the roof of the office building. Ben was there too when he saw me. He asked me what happened and I just bawled my eyes out because that day was my wedding anniversary, and that was the same day my ex decided that he would get married to his affair partner. Ben listened to my concerns and stayed with me the whole day to make sure I was fine. He even dropped me to my house because I was too emotionally unstable to drive myself. From there, we started dating. He told me a story about how he lost his wife and only daughter 10 years ago in a car accident. He was really fond of my daughters as well. Emily has started to call him Dad after a year of us dating. Gabby also calls him Daddy Ben. I was finally healing and getting back to my old self. Ben was really nice and caring, and we welcomed our son a year ago. My girls are happy to have a brother. He proposed to me when I was pregnant, and we had been planning for our wedding since then. Now here is the issue. Emily is one of my bridesmaids, while Gabby is my flower girl. Emily is old enough to choose which parent she wants to live with, so there was no issue from her part. But Gabby was still going back and forth from my house to my ex's house. My wedding is in 2 weeks. My ex was fine with it at first. I spoke to him many times to make sure that he drives Gabby to my mother's place, but now he refuses. He says that he only gets to see his daughter 3 times a week, and he is not willing to give up his days for some party. I told him he could take my days for a week and let her be at the wedding, but he says he will not let Gabby go. The wedding is on a Tuesday, which means Gabby would be with him. I cannot change the date because everything is booked. Please give me some advice. We have argued a lot, and I don't think I can go through any emotional pain with us ever again. Gabby would be heartbroken because she is really excited to be flower girl. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Wow, what a massive a-hole. Tell him you will give up a month's worth of days for that one day because it is a monumental special occasion. Ask him if he is really that heartless to hurt his daughter just to spite you. Ask him if he can look her in the eye and explain to her why she doesn't get to be a flower girl in her mom's wedding. Ask him if he hates you more than he loves his daughter. Will your older child talk to him? While it's really not fair to put her in that situation, it may help. I don't want to put this pressure on her. She already hates him for what he had done. I don't think giving up a month just for one day seems logical, but I will have a harsh talk with him. He cannot keep my daughter away from me. Les, your ex is using your youngest daughter to get to you. It's not about her or the wedding, it's about pushing buttons. He knows how to do it, and has found one to push. I learned it in the hard way. In total disclosure, my ex did something similar. I thought she was above that, but she wasn't. My 4 kids didn't go to my wedding to second and current wife. They hold that against her still 23 years later. Karma sucks sometimes. As a last-ditch effort, contact the attorney you used when you got divorced. See if they will draft a letter to him reminding him that events in parents' lives are usually negotiated between the willing parents for the good of the children. Maybe a letter will adjust his thinking. If not, I'd send a final text, then let it go. I'm not sure how he's going to explain to the youngest why the older can go and she can't, but that's his anchor. And if younger asks you why, tell her Dad's pushing for you to not be there. I want you there. He does not. Firmly point out that this is on him, not you. Congrats on the upcoming wedding. Focus on the day, not that jerk messing with you. I will do that. Thanks. Now for the update 4 days later. It's been hectic since the last I posted. So I mentioned in my last post that my ex-husband, with whom I share 2 children, Emily and Gabby. Emily lives with me now, but occasionally goes to her father's place. I made that post on Wednesday and went Friday to pick up Gabby. My daughter Emily was angry. I asked her what happened, and she says that Gabby was throwing a tantrum because of some stupid lie their father has told Gabby that they will be going on a vacation on my wedding day. Gabby said no, because she was excited to be my flower girl and threw a tantrum. I was furious. This cowardly man wanted to take my daughter away from me so that she's never my flower girl. I stomped my way into his house and demanded to see my daughter. My fiancé was with me. I demanded to see my daughter and said that he was a coward for not telling my daughter the real reason why she can't be at my wedding. My daughter rushed towards my fiancé Ben, and I told him to tell Gabby the truth. I was done with this man. I told him if he doesn't tell her, I will. I had screenshots on my phone. I am surprised that he caved and eventually told her the truth. Gabby was crying and saying that she hates him. My ex-husband was not having it. She took Gabby away from Ben and violently shakes her and calls her a brat who doesn't appreciate her dad. I don't know what came onto me, but I saw red and pushed my ex out of the way. He called me a witch, and his wife came out and tried to handle him. I got my daughter Gabby, but my ex wasn't letting me. He even got into a physical altercation with my fiancé, while Emily was recording it from a distance. My ex kept shouting that he will not let my daughter go with him. I reminded him that this is my turn to have her, and that he agreed he would let my daughter stay with me until the wedding is over. I have the messages with me that he agreed to our agreement. He couldn't do anything, and we left. Upon arriving, Emily told me if it is possible to keep Gabby with us forever, because she does not want to live with her dad. I asked why, and she told me that her dad has been really angry ever since I started a relationship. It wasn't that extreme at first. Then he started insulting me behind my back about how much I downgraded by dating Ben. It got even more agitated when he learned I was pregnant. He has been asking his wife to start having kids, and they had fights multiple times. It doesn't end there. Emily also mentions he would often lash out on Gabby and even scold her for making small mistakes. He even forced both of them to call his wife mom, but Emily refused. She also said the only reason she ever goes back is because she knows Gabby has to stay with him, and she is just protecting her. I cried and asked her why she didn't tell me. She responded that she saw how happy I was with Ben, so she didn't want to burden me. I don't know what to say. I never wanted my daughter to take the burden. While I am happy that she tried to protect her sister, I feel disappointed in myself that I was so busy with my new life that I neglected my daughter. Whenever they came home, they were smiling, and I took that as a sign that everything was okay. I told Emily while I'm proud of her, she should have told me. She should have never taken it upon herself to save Gabby. I am their mother, and I will protect them from everything. I was going to let my daughter stay with my ex when I was in my honeymoon, so that he would not cry about not spending enough time with his daughters. Now I'm thinking otherwise. I don't know what to do. I am really stressed and next week is my wedding. The amount of people freak out when the ex starts dating again is mind-boggling. Especially the ones who cheated on their ex and left them. I saw another post on AITA where the mom who cheated on Opie's father with a stepdad freaked out when her ex who she left 7 years ago started dating. The mom straight up stalked the girlfriend. The cheater never ends up happy. You see it time and time again. Because they always want something new and shiny, and nothing is new and shiny forever. They don't realize things only stay shiny when you polish them. That child bride knows that she doesn't want kids with this man. I mean, she probably is planning her exit, refusing to have kids with him, so no attachments. Watching him mistreat his own children? If he's doing it to the kids, he's doing it to her. Opie leaving that marriage is the best thing that happens. I'm glad she found a good match that her kids seem to love. It's not clear, but it sounds like they might have video of the ex-man handling poor Gabby and a verbal altercation, which looks bad for both of them, but seems to be on the side of Opie. Some parenting classes or whatever would be well worth getting her out of that house if they can get a judge to see the ex seems to be edging towards physical harm. I mean, she only jumped when her ex was shaking Gabby, so it can count as self-defense. Last story. Update. Am I the a-hole for calling my mother-in-law on my fiancé? Original post. My fiancé, male 22, was injured over a month ago and had surgery to correct things literally 2 days after the accident. I, 21 female, have been by his side the entire time. I have more or less become his caregiver. In the last month, I have taken over the role of keeping our house together. I cook all the meals, I take care of the pets, I stay up all night to tend to his endless needs, and I take him to the bathroom. I have been working remote and haven't left the house for more than an hour since the accident, aside from taking him to and from appointments. I am not saying this to complain. I am grateful that my life allows for me to support him the way I have. My problem is his attitude. He was given very strong painkillers for the first 2 weeks after surgery. He had to extend his time on them. He'd recently stopped taking them in the last week. When he was taking them, he thanked me, told me how much he loved me, apologized at every step, though he didn't need to. Without the meds, he doesn't seem to see that I'm helping him. Every dish I bring him is the wrong one. He will yell for me, and when I come, he will tell me to get lost. If he's in pain, he expects me to fix it. I am exhausted. I can't do anything right, and it is wearing on me. I haven't slept in weeks. I haven't seen a friend or family member in way too long. I can't even be on the phone for more than 10 minutes without it being an issue. After days of what turned into verbal abuse, I called my mother-in-law. I told her everything as soon as I saw he was asleep. I cried for about 15 minutes. I felt terrible unloading on her like that, but I had so much built-up frustration I just couldn't stop. She was very supportive on the phone, let me know I wasn't wrong to feel like that and let me cry. After hearing everything, she was furious and ended our call to talk to her son. She tore him a new one. I heard him trying to defend himself through the door, but it was mostly just stammering. She flew up yesterday and put me in a nice hotel. I haven't heard much from my fiancé since I left, but as I was leaving, he was yelling at me for calling his mom. He said he didn't want to marry someone who couldn't be there for him in sickness. I told him I loved him and I was sorry. I am just so tired. He didn't care and just told me to go, and his mom could do a better job for him than I ever could. So now I'm on my way to a nice hotel room, feeling like a major a-hole. I need to know if I'm wrong here. Edit. He began weaning off 2 weeks ago and became fully dependent on over-the-counter medication this week. He did not stop taking them cold turkey. His doctors were heavily involved too, due to previous substance abuse. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. You've gone above and beyond. In sickness and in health does not mean never needing a break. It doesn't mean accepting abuse. Can you break up with a fiancé and keep the mother-in-law? She sounds great. I second this. Toss the fiancé. Keep mother-in-law. Maybe. Withdrawal and pain make a-holes of us all. OP, previously he was super grateful. Maybe give it a few weeks? I think the crappy side of him is the true side. If she doesn't want to deal with him being rude and emotionally abusive, yelling and cussing at her, I'd run. Not the a-hole. It's in sickness and in health, not through abuse and toxicity. This is a distinction that needs to be highlighted more often. Not the a-hole. Exactly. And they're not even married, so those vows mean crap. Lol. Mother-in-law sounds like a keeper though. Now for the updates. Mother-in-law is taking him back to their hometown once they can get flights together. I'll stay in this hotel until then. Fiancé doesn't want to talk yet, and to be honest, I don't blame him. He knows what's coming, and I'm angry. I'll go visit him in a week, so I have until then to decide how I want to move forward. My mother called last night about a venue she found in my hometown, and I told her what's going on. She doesn't want to spend a bunch of money on a pending divorce, so we are stepping back from planning. Not much more to add. I'm excited to see my pets and be able to sleep in my own bed. I'm going to try to make my sister fly to my state so I can have some company. That's pretty much it. I'm in serious awe about how I let my life get like this. But oh well, today will be better. Second update. I went home 2 days after posting. Things were sad. My mother-in-law had cleaned, but the energy in the house was a bummer. The first thing he said to me when I got back was, "I'm glad you're back. Can you make me a snack?" There was no apology, no accountability, just a task. He only talked to me when he needed something, and his attitude was worsening. My mother-in-law took the rest of his prescribed opiates, so I knew he wasn't using. The weekend following the mother-in-law debacle, my wonderful fiancé told me he had friends coming to stay for the weekend. 2 hour heads up. Didn't ask. I sighed and made up the guest room. His friend and friend's girlfriend came to stay, and during the stay, my fiancé bought me flowers, got out of bed daily, took me out, and let me call my parents unsupervised. The day they left, he was back to bed with a crappy attitude. I wish I could say I am in my own apartment with my pets, and a bottle of rosé that's just for me, or with my girlfriends that I haven't seen in months. Unfortunately, I'm writing this on a couch while I listen to the music that are as endless demands. However, I do have a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm scared to leave him in person, but is leaving the country for a month in April. My sister lives abroad, and I'm working on getting her during that month. That's a process, especially with pets, but I'm looking forward to getting there. My mother hasn't spoken to me since I told her I was returning the ring, because that's not what we do. We clean our messes. But I have my father's unwavering support. I'll miss my mother-in-law, but I deserve that kindness and understanding from my partner, not his mother. I have stopped forcing myself to find a joy in his presence, and it's helping to fuel my drive to get out of here. I may update again when I get to my sister, but don't be surprised if I do my best to put this chapter behind me. Thanks for the kind words. I hope you all get the love and hugs you need. Sorry, I'm confused. I thought fiancé was going with mother-in-law. Either way, I'm glad you're getting out. The fact that he allowed you to call your parents unsupervised is probably the biggest red flag. And the fact that your mother thinks that this is a mess that you made, or that you need to work to clean up, is awful too. But I'm glad you have the support of your dad and mother-in-law. If you don't give another update, then I'll just wish you the best here. You deserve to get out. Mother-in-law was planning on taking him. He refused. The fact that when his friends were around, his switch flipped and he was fine. Then he went right back to being horrible. Is all you needed to know of his true colors. I look forward to seeing an update about you drinking some rosé away from him. Exactly. That's how abusers behave. Nice and loving towards you in front of others, while being a complete monster behind closed doors. Final update. Things got very bad since I posted this, and I'm currently in my childhood room at my father's, decently hungover. And I am officially a single lady.